Hello, today I will be presenting a summary of my recent issue brief titled Europe as a Strategic Partner, the Case for Sharper Korea-Europe Policy. The issue brief outlines what South Korea's policy towards Europe should look like under the current Lee Jae-myung administration. The main argument is that moving forward, strategic cooperation must be the central pillar of South Korea's policy towards Europe. And there are a number of reasons why this will be important. First, the growing uncertainty surround U.S. security commitments, driven by Washington's increasingly transactional approach to alliances. This has placed South Korea and Europe in a similar strategic position. And so closer alignment between the two has become essential to reinforce alliance cohesion and collectively hedge against the destabilizing effects of US unpredictability under the Trump administration. Second, a more strategic partnership with Europe could strengthen South Korea's approach to the North Korea challenge. Both sides have an interest in reducing tensions and countering North Korea's growing ties with Russia. And so closer ROK-EU coordination can help align responses to Pyongyang within a broader trans-regional framework. Also, as the Lee Jae-myung administration pursues a conciliatory policy centered on gradual denuclearization, Europe's experience in non-proliferation and humanitarian engagement, these can play a useful role in supporting the first step of the Lee Jae-myung administration's three-step plan, namely freezing North Korea's nuclear program, while also ensuring that these efforts remain tied to the longer-term goal of complete denuclearization. And third, Europe's large-scale defense build-up presents South Korea with both economic and strategic opportunities. In the short term, South Korea has benefited from supplying weapons to European countries, replenishing stockpiles depleted by the war in Ukraine. Over the longer term, integrating into Europe's expanding defense ecosystem would allow South Korea to modernize its defense industry and secure a lasting position in Western supply chains and Euro-Atlantic security networks. And reflecting these trends, we are seeing a shift in the framing of Korea-Europe relations, with security and defense emerging as a central pillar alongside trade and values. For example, the signing of the ROK-EU Security and Defense Partnership in 2024, this marked a turning point and signaled the EU's growing interest in Korea as a security partner. And also, Korea's cooperation with NATO has deepened significantly since 2022. At the same time, bilateral defense ties with European countries, especially Poland, the UK, and Romania, these have also strengthened through large-scale defense contracts and technology partnerships. And these developments are important because of the shifting strategic environment. In this context, I provide three policy recommendations for the current Lee Jae-myung administration. First, South Korea should make firmer political commitments. It should continue its support for Ukraine, and it should engage more visibly in the NATO IP4 cooperation. Another example could be to host an IP4 summit in the Indo-Pacific region. This would greatly demonstrate South Korea's leadership and credibility. Second, South Korea should pursue clearer security engagement. It should consider joining European-led naval exercises, expanding intelligence sharing, and also learning from the operational lessons of the Ukraine war, particularly regarding North Korea's involvement. The third recommendation is for South Korea to pursue stronger networked coordination. By deepening collaboration with Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, the other countries in the NATO IP4, Korea can project a more coherent Indo-Pacific voice towards Europe. And this will help South Korea move beyond a bilateral approach to European countries and embed itself in minilateral frameworks that will reinforce long-term strategic alignment. So in conclusion, the issue brief makes the argument that South Korea should continue to develop the strategic and security focus in Korea-Europe relations. By expanding the political, defense, and industrial cooperation, Korea can anchor itself more firmly within the transatlantic community, ensure that it remains a proactive and reliable partner in shaping global stability. Thank you very much.